Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the beginner lessons. This is another free lesson, and we are Chess Match here. We are going to give a lesson on the Spanish game. Last week, we did a lesson on the Joko piano, and we went over most common moves played and a little bit of some sideline variations and tactics to look for, and focusing on the common themes of the position. We're going to apply some of that same uh, all those same themes and the variations that can come out of the Spanish game instead. So we'll be taking a look at Roy Lopez as well. But what's the catch there, Dylan? They're
The
both the
same
same.
opening.
Yep. All right, so Spanish game is another E4 opening,
Okay.
just like the Joko piano. So we'll be pushing our pawn forward, just like in that other opening as well.
Mm-hmm.
And much like the Joko piano, Black wants to fight for the center control, just like we talked about in the last video. Just how we talked about in the first video, we want to try and get pawns in the center. That way they can control these key squares. So if I had another pawn here, it would be controlling these squares.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's what white did here. That's what black did here as well. And what was it next that we were developing out?
If I remember correctly, I believe it was the G1 knight.
That's right. And do we put it here?
No, you would put it on F3
Why would we put it on F3?
because now that attacks the undefended pawn.
That's right. So we're gaining time in the game by creating a threat on the next move.
Mm-hmm.
So if you put your knight here, your knight is only attacking these squares. Not that square. These squares right here.
Hmm.
So it's not really doing much on that square. And if we put a knight here, it's attacking all of this, right?
Yeah,
I don't.
that's a good position because it also um, protects against like pushing any of the pawns to what is that, G5. So
Right, yeah.
it kind of attacks along that file where a lot of the pawns are going to be pushed up to.
Right, so by putting our knight in the center, we're just not only attacking the pawn, but we're
Mm-hmm.
also restricting our opponent's movement into our general direction to attack us. So by putting this knight here, we're attacking the pawn, but we're also restricting black from pushing his pawn as well. That's why knight f3 is a great move here.
Mm-hmm.
Now with black, they have a decision of whether to defend this pawn or to counterattack, just like you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And in the themes of the Joko piano in the Spanish game, it is a more quieter position. Now, what do you think this means, Dylan? Quieter position.
To me, I think when I hear quieter position, maybe we're setting things up that are going to happen later on in the game as opposed to being really aggressive at the start.
That's right. So
So maybe like a
with
more
quiet
defensive
games,
position.
there's this stigma between quiet games and loud games. Loud games are the ones with full of tactics and excitement, and you know every three moves or every two or three moves, something exciting is going to happen. Big tactics going to happen. But I think there's a big stigma against these quieter games where you slowly and methodically better your position over time, and then you wait for the break, right? and then that's when everything explodes in the position. So I love that slight build up in the quiet game, like 20 moves down, 30 moves down, nothing's been captured, and then boom, in 10 moves, everything breaks open and it's just chaos.
Mm-hmm.
So with the Joko Pianissimo, you get a quieter game. Hence, it means the quiet game. Uh, with the Spanish game, you can get the same. Now, with the Joko Piano, there's ideas with going for a loud game. But typically in higher chess, uh, the quieter game gets played most oftenly. That's why we see knight to c6.
Mm-hmm.
And knight to c6, it defends the pawn. Instead of going knight f6, we would attack the pawn, but we would not defend our pawn. So we're going for the quieter approach by defending this pawn. Now, what opening was this that we discussed last week, Dylan?
So that was the Italian right there.
Right. And once that bishop comes out and this one comes out, that
Mm-hmm.
is the Joko piano. So, as white, I don't want to play the Joko piano. I want to get my bishop out to a very active diagonal in the game. It
Mm-hmm.
controls a lot of key squares. But when I do that, he also develops his bishop and gets it on this long diagonal, putting pressure on my king. I don't like that. But I still want to develop my bishop. So that's why I go bishop to b5. And it's different here because if he develops his bishop out, it's controlling here, but we're also attacking a piece. So there's a
Mm.
lot different that's going to go on here with the Spanish game, but it's going to be slow developing moves. So with bishop to b5, we're going to go over the main line of the Spanish game, and that is Morphy's defense, which is
Mm.
a6.
Okay.
And this was played by American Grandmaster Paul Morphy in the 19th century. And this is when a6 was being more popularized as Morphy was using it more and more in his games and winning more games over the more traditional moves at the time. And when we analyzed this with the computer, Paul Morphy was right. a6 is the best move.
Wow.
Now, we have two good choices here as white. We can either take out the knight or we can move our bishop back. Still, creating this sense of like, I can still take your knight. What are you going to do about it?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you go here, it's not the same now if you played it on this move. Because a lot has changed in the past couple of moves. So if the bishop came there, what's the difference here? Black just got an extra move. Now he can prepare this move, bring his bishop out, and now you're losing time in development.
Yeah. Oh, that's a tough position right there.
So we can either take the knight or we can come back here. So
Okay.
um first like to go over what if I just take the knight here and you take back.
Mm-hmm.
Am I winning a pawn here?
Yes, because nothing's attacking it.
That's right, nothing is defending this pawn,
Or yeah, nothing's defending.
but that's what we call a poisoned pawn.
Okay. So does that basically just mean it like stands alone? Like nobody's defending it? It means it's poisoned?
It means it's defended by a tactic in the position.
Hmm. Okay. That's kind of cool.
So,
I've never heard of that terminology before.
so what white is thinking here. So I develop a pawn in the center. My opponent does the same. I defend his pawn, and he defends it. I develop my bishop out. He contests me, and then I remove the defender of this pawn.
Okay.
Black takes back, so we'll go through that move, and now I can win the pawn.
And that's a really bad pawn structure as well. There, like
But
his king is pretty opened up. I feel like.
but black is actually better here
Really.
because he has queen to d4.
Hmm.
And what do you do now as white?
Oh, because he's attacking two things at once.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
if you defend the
Someone really have
pawn,
to choose the right move.
you lose the knight. If you go back with the knight, you lose the pawn with
And
check.
you're in check.
And you
Yeah,
either
that's
got to
not
move your
ideal.
king there, so
Mm.
get something like this. You got to move your king out of the way. You can't castle anymore. Or you could even have something like this. Still, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why taking this pawn is poisoned. Now you can still play this position. You
Interesting.
can still take the knight here. And this position is equal as well. You just got to castle. Because let's say, go a5, just make a random move. You
Mm-hmm.
take. I come here.
Okay.
Do you see the tactic here for white? I pick up the pawn.
Would it be... Oh, are you able to move the rook to e1 and then the queen is pinned?
Yep.
Nice. That's a cool
So that's
tactic.
why you
I like
castle
that.
there instead.
Okay.
So after I remove the knight, pawn
Uh-huh.
takes back. Castle first. Don't take this pawn. Castle first.
Okay.
And then let's say they make random move. Okay. Let me go here. I kind of want to develop my bishop out in the future. You can take this. Because if they go here, you just come back with the knight. You're like, come get my pawn. That's all yours. And then there goes the queen.
So then your pawn becomes poisoned too, because then you have the
Exactly.
tactic. Oh, that's really
Exactly.
cool. That's sick.
So
Wow.
you see how the Roy Lopez, it's in the
That's really
Spanish
cool.
game, it's also called, you're slowly developing up these moves,
Mm-hmm.
and then once a mistake happens, you know, the position starts to blow up.
So was your whole point then in the Spanish and the Roy Lopez, is it to just have that bishop on um what square is it? B5 and then take? Like you just want to take the knight? Is that like the number one recommended move?
It's a good question. It is not.
Okay.
The reason I go over that variation first is
Mm-hmm.
because that is one of the more shorter variations
Okay.
compared to the vast many.
So is that one a
There's
little
still a
bit
lot of
more
variations, but
beginner friendly variation? Or is that just kind of if you want to play more offensive?
it's more like trickier.
Okay. Okay.
Now we're gonna employ some of the concepts that we learned in the Joko piano
Mm-hmm.
to the quieter version of the Spanish game. And
Okay.
that's with Bishop to A4.
Interesting.
So you still kind of have this tactic lingering here,
Mm-hmm.
because if you can get a castle in, how we were explaining, in the last variation, then you could go for this pawn. So black has ask you a question, be like, okay, am I gonna kick your bishop away, or am I gonna attack your pawn?
Ooh,
That's what black does
interesting.
here.
Okay.
He attacks your pawn.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as like more pieces are joining in, like towards the center, now is it kind of like hard to tell like who's better or not?
Yeah, like I do kind of struggle to figure out like who in this instance has like the upper hand. Like I feel like both, a pawn and then two of your like bigger pieces are out. So you guys kind of have the same amount of material at least developed in some
You know, let's
fashion.
go through
Actually,
let's
well,
go through two or three
black has another
variations from
pawn,
here.
but
See what happens. You play play a move here as white. We'll go through some of the
as
variations.
white. Well,
Yeah.
considering that um, the knight on f6 is now attacking the e pawn, I think that a logical move could maybe be knight to b or knight to c3 to protect it, and you can
Yep.
still move the pawn up in order to let the brown squared bishop move, or the black square bishop. So
Oh,
that
like
kind of allows you to.
here.
What happened?
What are you talking about?
So like you can like move the pawn forward still, the d pawn. Sorry, and then you can move your bishop on the c diagonal. It
Oh,
won't
okay,
let
okay.
me. It
Like
won't
right
let
here.
me draw. Yeah, I'm trying to draw arrows and it won't let me. So I keep forgetting that I kind of have to verbally explain it. Let's see. I don't know if you're able to change that or not.
Do it if you can. All right, go ahead.
All right, there we go. Sorry, I was like trying to like do it and like explain it, but it wasn't working, so I got confused. Okay, so yeah, a move like that allows you to still be able to push this pawn, so that way this can attack this file. But if you did something like,
Right.
you know, well,
Yeah.
like I guess moving the pawn up kind of would have done the same thing, but I think it defends this really well
Yep. And it gets another
and it
piece
develops it.
to the center.
That's just kind of my thought process as a beginner.
Yeah. That's very good. Um. Yeah. That's uh what you learned through the Joko piano,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Developing these nights out. Um. The Spanish kind of has the same themes as the Joko piano, to where it's conserving the light squared bishop, which is going to be used in an attack, either here or here later on in the game. Um, but it also has the ideas of attacking towards the center and on the king side, like the Joko piano does.
Okay.
So pick another move. Be any move.
I like moving the pawn forward, maybe
Yep, d3. I
d3.
like that move too. Get you that pawn center. The bishop can come out. This is defended.
I agree. I feel like that's
That
like one of the only other ones you can do because you don't want to give up the pawn for free if you can help it.
right. All right, give me one more.
Ooh, there's another. Let's see. Oh, you could technically move the queen to e2,
You could.
but is that the one you were not thinking of?
Well, it's good to get the queen out, you know, to do stuff in the game,
Mm-hmm.
but you want to get your main ideas down first. So
Okay.
those are getting at least a pawn in the center, which you already did that. Getting all of your pieces developed. You haven't done that yet, and getting your king castled
Okay.
before you like try to move out the queen and attack.
Oh, so you're saying we could have just castled instead of.
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
But But I see your thought process with it, because if we castle here, are we not just blundering the pawn? Right?
Yeah.
Is that a blunder though?
Oh, is there a tactic?
That's right.
Mm.
The Roy Lopez, it could
Okay.
seem all quiet, at any time. It could just pop.
Interesting. Okay.
So when you think something is free, double check it just in case. Because there could be tactics.
Okay.
Like Rook D1.
That's what I was thinking the move was.
Let's say black goes back to F6.
Uh-huh.
Now you have two attackers here.
Wow.
He has one defender, but you can even remove that defender too.
Oh yeah,
You could have
that'd be a big
something
move.
like this happen.
Yeah, because now he's in a tricky position. Like he really can't develop that bishop really.
Get another pawn in the center. Get your knight
Yeah.
out maybe.
Wow.
Even put
That's a
the
pretty
queen
good
here.
spot to be.
Like you could blunder a bishop here.
Wow.
And
And it's all because he took what he thought was free.
yep.
Wow. That's cool though.
Yeah, so that's why castles is the best move there. So after you get castled in the Spanish
Mm-hmm.
and your opponent hasn't castled yet, he has to like hurry up. Like he's on the clock. Because in like the Joko piano in the Spanish game,
Mm-hmm.
when your opponent's king is castled and you are not like one step away from castling, like if this bishop was gone, he'd probably be fine because he could castle any point. But if he's
Mm-hmm.
like two moves behind, like, it could get dicey. So
Interesting.
let's say b6 or something,
Mm-hmm.
Take. He takes here. There goes your queen, buddy.
Wow.
That, so like, can he take that pawn? Or, like, what does he got to do here?
Yeah, that's not a fun spot to be.
Loses his knight.
Oof.
So that's why you got to be careful here as well. So that's why black goes b5 here. Prevents you from taking this knight here.
Mm-hmm.
Doing all the trickiness in the center. Which, only move forces you back.
Mm-hmm. I feel like the left side of his board is really like opened up now though.
Yeah, so he might
might have overextended. Yeah, could do that.
So because he wants to get castled, and this is going to stay defended, there's no way for you to attack it.
Mm-hmm.
Bishop comes out to e7.
Okay.
And what's not defended?
Would it be the e pawn on e4?
Yep. So that's why we defend it with the rook.
Mm. Okay, I like that move.
And he's like, crap, bro. We got a rook staring down at us. We got a castle.
Yeah. Yeah, he might have overextended a little bit, I think.
I mean, everything's defended here.
Maybe some development on
This could be a nasty bishop later.
your side, though, yeah. Oh, I didn't even see that, yeah. Wow. Yeah, he definitely overextended a little bit.
So now because we have a rook here.
Mm-hmm.
His rook is not developed here. His bishop's in the way. We want to start at breaking open the center because we're preparing this move. And when he takes here, like
Mm-hmm.
that happens, we're not gonna take back. We're gonna keep like pressing
Like
pressing
push
up,
the advantage.
pushing forward.
Because your pawn is defended by 2 pieces. Because now the knight protects the pawn.
Right.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool. Wow.
So threatening that. They go d6.
Mm-hmm.
They got that chain here. Now white can go here. It's a playable move, but the reason why you should wait on that move first, because in the Spanish, you got to remember, you got to think slow,
Mm-hmm.
because all the moves are going to be slow building up moves.
Okay.
You want to think of every kind of like pattern of the position, because now I can develop this bishop out here, and if you're trying to collect the pawn,
Mm-hmm.
you can't, like, the bishop is hitting the queen.
Yeah, so you can't move your knight.
And do like some trades and stuff. Can't even attack anything because this bishop is just restricting you. So that's why you have to go with h3 first.
Wow. That's
You're still threatening
that's
this
a
on the
quiet
next
move as
move,
well.
but you just go here,
Because then it's going to
protects
set up for you
against
to
the
be able to
bishop
push
coming
up.
here, annoying you, and maybe 40 moves down the line, you got a safety square for your king.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah. So
Because I feel like
we're
that's one
gonna
of my
go.
biggest issues as a beginner is like when it comes down to the end game, I always get like checkmated because I don't leave my king a safety square. So that's one of my biggest areas of improvement, I feel like.
So this would be a good opening for you then.
Yeah. I'm already liking it so far. It's pretty aggressive when they start to take the different pawns. So I
This
kind of
is like where we're at right now. This is like almost the end of the main line. We haven't even got into any variation yet.
Ooh, okay. So there's a lot more to it.
There's a lot you could do with this opening, and
Okay.
there's like so many unexplored areas that you could whip up and it'd be really good.
Interesting. I like that. I
So,
like you can kind of pick and choose which route you want to go down.
sure.
Kind of makes you
So
able to tailor it to each game and what you're up against.
white is threatening d4.
Mm-hmm.
And what does d4 threaten?
That you're gonna push. Well, if he doesn't take, you're gonna push the pawn again, and then threaten the knight, and then the knight can't even take because then this is there to. So,
Yeah, but the
like
knight
you're
can move back.
pretty much forcing. Oh wait, yeah,
I can always reroute.
I guess he could move back. So what is he
You gotta think
threatening?
far into the moves here.
So,
Yes, so we're threatening d4.
mm-hmm.
So in order to defend this pawn from d4, a later move, we're actually going to develop our knight back. That's right. We're going to develop it back.
And that's on
This is the Breyer defense.
and this is on defense of the opening?
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Breyer defense.
Interesting.
So
I wouldn't have expected to move back. So that's actually kind of cool.
So when d4 comes, now the knight comes back in here.
Ah, so you defend
this
it.
pawn. So let's count 1, 2, 1, 2. Good.
Okay, interesting. That's kind of cool. I like I liked seeing the more defensive side of things too, and how they
Well,
might be able to react to the opening.
so Black's developed one, two, three pieces here. He's gone castled. You've developed one, two pieces and gone castled. So you gotta speed up your development, man. So that's why you bring out the knight here.
Actually, that's true. His
Because
bishop is pretty. Both of his bishops are in a rough spot.
yeah. And you're also defending this pawn even more. Because like say developed his bishop out.
Mm-hmm.
But where you really want this knight, you don't want it here because you're blocking in your boy, you know? You don't want to block in your boy. So bring the knight out, not to here, not to here, but to here. To later attack his king and surround him.
Wow, so you completely switch sides of the board.
Yeah, with this
That's
knight.
cool. Wow.
Comes all the way across. So
And you're able to do that because he doesn't have any movement of
right.
his like minor pieces. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yep. But the bishop comes out to b7. We got
Mm-hmm.
two defenders here. But I thought we wanted to move this knight out. Come on, man.
Interesting.
Because if I move the knight there, he's gonna win a pawn. Or maybe my rook. But we stopped this by playing bishop to c2.
Okay. Yeah, because now I guess
That's
he
how
can.
quiet this game is.
Yeah, because now he can at least get a read on the pawn and
Yep.
add another attacker. Yeah. Wow.
So that's gonna be defended twice,
Mm-hmm.
two attackers. And now this knight can finally hop over here. So you see like all of the slow buildup of synergy within the pieces.
Mm-hmm. That's honestly pretty
Uh,
cool. Because, like, you haven't even moved your queen yet, and all this is going on.
right.
And, like, you've really restricted a lot of the development of, like, their pretty important pieces.
Yep. So he sees your rook is here, and
Mm-hmm.
you get a pretty nice light squared bishop here, right here. Which let's say like the center opened up,
Mm-hmm.
push this, and he takes back, but you have this like overwhelming attack here. Like this is opened up, the knight's coming in. The rook can come around. So he's got to be careful about that. That's why the bishop's pretty good here.
Okay.
So he wants to try and get some activity with his other pieces. Like his rook e8. And you're like, what do you mean, bro? You got this bishop here. So when you develop this knight here, he's gonna see eye to eye you on that. He's gonna do the same.
Mm-hmm.
So now this rook is opened up, and he just added a defender to his position. So you see how these slow, like methodical moves, they achieve like the most potential that they can do.
Hold on,
And what I mean by that is
my chessboard is like frozen. I can't see any of the moves you're making. Hold on. Make a move. Oh, there we go. I might have fixed it.
You can see the moves.
Yep. All right. We got it back going. Sorry, guys.
So,
Okay, yeah, so start from right there, yeah. And then the knight was on,
did you see all this?
yeah. So go back to, I think maybe bishop b7. Yeah, that's what we were on. Bishop b7. So 2 more moves. Yeah, that's where we were.
Okay. So he sees that you're defending this pawn 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
He's attacking twice. And now he wants to get some activity with his rook. That's why he goes here. And when you try and get this knight all the way around to g3,
Mm-hmm.
he tucks his bishop in. You tuck the bishop in bed, and you defend the house.
Mm-hmm.
That's the saying. So now you're trying to get your knight to g3 here. You're doing these slow, methodical moves. Um, that try and achieve like the most potential in the position.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, let's say like I make this pawn move.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all I'm doing is controlling this square, and I'm weakening my position a little bit. But we saw this move with the bishop coming back. The rook is now opened up and can attack later on the file because of this move coming back. And our position is more defended.
Mm-hmm.
So it does more when you make these moves that have more potential.
Interesting, okay.
So he gets his knight over to g3,
I mean, the development
and
for white right now
he's
is
eyeing
crazy.
down this f5 square. If he can get this knight here on f5,
Mm-hmm.
then there could be like some potential to attack. Get this other knight in, queen's coming in. So black don't want that. He's going g6. Now you can't go there. Come on, man. You want to cross the whole world? Now you can't even get there.
Interesting. I feel like there's a catch.
But there is a catch because he weakened his king side. Now he has dark squared weaknesses around his king,
Ooh, interesting, okay.
and that's what white is going to try and use.
Interesting.
All right, what do you think the move is here?
Here, um, could it be knight g5?
We could, but what about just like h6?
Yeah, true. I guess I'm just trying to weaken it even more, but
That's a fair point.
maybe we.
But I'm going to use your idea.
Okay.
I'm going to give it more potential.
Okay.
Knight's here. Black doesn't like that. He doesn't like a piece being on that square.
Or what if we
So he goes to
did?
kick it. That's right, the bishop, right?
Yeah. Okay, I'm seeing it. I just saw it.
So
Yep. Okay,
develop
cool.
the bishop out here.
Yep.
You have a piece in the position, but you also have an attack. You have a pin on the queen as well. So you're getting more potential out of this piece by
Wow.
moving it here.
Oh, that's sick.
So that's why we moved the bishop out to g5, baby.
Okay.
So
I like that move.
Black doesn't like this. We're kicking out that bishop, man. Don't like it in the camp. So we tuck it back in. Tuck the bishop back in. Tuck it back into e3.
So you're
I mean,
just
black
forcing
did the
him to
same, right?
move into you. Yeah.
I mean, like, all the
Oh, that's
bishops are
crazy.
tucked in, man.
Yeah. Wow.
But
Okay, that's cool.
is black going threatening come back at some point,
I mean,
or is white?
yeah, I mean there's just too many good moves for white, I feel like. But
But like black is controlling that. Like you can't do that.
yeah, black has restricted a lot of the movement.
All right. What about
Mm.
a destructive move? It has potential.
Oh, what did
C5.
Uh-huh. Ooh.
There's some trickiness here.
I
White doesn't want any of this trickiness going on while he's attacking.
I think
It closes up the center.
wow. Okay, that's cool.
This
So you
is still the
basically just
main
closed
line
the
of this
position.
variation.
Wow. This is all mainline.
Yep, we are 17
Wow.
moves in, and there's still master games played in this position.
Okay, interesting.
Oh, the last one was 2021. Earliest one was 1978. Huh.
That's cool.
Cool. All right. So D5.
Mhm.
And we're also locking that bishop out. Like, bro is in jail. What are you doing back there, bro? Like, he's never breaking through. Like, and we're just gonna attack him.
Okay.
So, going C4.
Wow.
I'm gonna restrict your pieces, but I'm also gonna get my knight in. The knight that used to be here,
Ooh, it can now go
he
there.
came all the way back. He was sitting at home, and he was like, "You know what? No one's taking rid of the job, so I'm gonna do it."
Okay.
And he's gonna come into C5.
That's actually kind of cool how he was able to change and get
Yep.
get it back in a fighting position. That's crazy.
But White is like, "Thank God, bro, this guy finally made like a pawn move because we're
Mhm.
going after this pawn."
Oh. Oh, I see where this is going.
And
Yep.
after Black moves a pawn, the pin is back on.
Oh, you can't get away from it.
And then that's how simple chess can be. That's a draw.
Wow.
And there's actually a master game like that.
So that was good for black then, because he got a draw out of it.
Yeah.
Wow. So that was a successful defense right there. Interesting.
Yeah, just think of like the synergy in the position, like everything defended.
Yeah, each piece kind of defended each other, so it was kind of really well played by both sides, in my opinion. Wow.
Like everything is defended.
It's like a spider web, dude. That is sick. Wow.
And that's just one variation of the Spanish game.
That's unreal.
Now, I do want to show you a fun little, I think it's called a fishing hook trap.
Okay.
No, the fishing pole trap. That's what it is. Let me get all the way back. See the board, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see I flipped it?
Yep.
It's a fishing pole trap.
Oh, that looks cool.
So whenever they capture your knight here, always take back with the center pawn
Hmm.
because if they take back, we always have that tactic. But if they castle, which is the best move we described earlier, you got this. You got the Fisher variation,
Okay.
and if he attacks your bishop,
The Fisher
always go
variation.
h5 immediately. 100% of the time, go h5 because it is the best move.
Oh, because yeah,
Fisher
I
is the
mean it
best move.
does. Because now your rook is opened up.
Yeah,
If he does take,
takes.
yeah.
You got to get back this knight.
Now you got the H file. Ooh, interesting.
Let's say, oh, he goes after the pawn. You ain't
Wow.
checkmate, man.
I mean that's ridiculous.
He tries to get, space here. He's locked down.
Wow. That's
Nothing you can
pretty.
do.
That's pretty cool. Wow. I mean that's a pretty quick checkmate there.
Yeah, 10 moves.
Yeah. I don't think he even saw it coming.
Nope.
It was too late by that point.
So that is the Spanish game, lesson 1. Hope you all enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you guys so much
We
for
today
tuning in.
we discussed the Morphe's defense, and we went over the fishing pole trap, and we also explored a little bit of the Breyer variation.
Do the did the fans get to know what opening we see next week, or is that gonna be a wait till next
It's a
week
mystery.
find out?
That's
Surprise.
a mystery. Surprise.
Ooh, okay, so y'all heard him. You'll have to check it out next week too to see the next one we cover. So, all right, guys. Yeah, thank you for tuning in. Hope you guys are liking the chess opening content. Feel free to leave us any comments or anything if you guys want to see something different or um, any feedback on the series. We would both definitely appreciate it.
Yes,
So with
sir.
that, we'll see you guys.
That sub button.
See ya.